Yes, this is like the throne room. This is the secret room.
It's our inner sanctum, really.
7th generation?
Ninth generation now,
Ninth
actually.
generation, gosh.
Unbelievable.
A bit like music, really. You've got the language of perfumery and music, talking in notes and crescendo, and it's like a sort of piece of music. The way a fragrance will open out and take you on a bit of a journey.
I love this shop.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. After you.
No, please.
Thank you.
Kirby,
Edward,
welcome.
so nice
Good
to see
you
you.
in London after all this time.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure.
And it's so great to be back in London. Of course, Tom.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. Thanks.
How are things getting along?
Yeah, picking up well actually, which
Yeah.
is really nice. Yeah, it's so good to see. Yeah.
Well, it's so nice to be back in
people
London.
out and about.
Yeah.
which
Well, there's
finally,
a lot of
after all this
activity, I
time.
think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the weather has turned quite nice compared to this morning.
Yeah, people didn't see it on film, but it really was a deluge this morning.
Yeah.
And now it's just quite
Yeah,
pleasant.
it was
So
one of
it's
those
good.
mornings, very dark and just
Yeah,
full on
dark,
rain.
horrible,
yeah.
miserable.
But no, it's brightening up now, which is good to see.
Well, it's so great to be back on German Street.
Lovely to have you back.
One of my favorite things whenever I'm in London, of course, is to pop into the places that you can only find here in London. And of course, Floris is one of those. Edward, one of the things I've always appreciated are your hand-poured kind of seasonal fragrances. I kind of been
thank you.
collecting them over the years.
Thank you very much.
So I thought we'd drop in and just kind of see, what you have that's new.
Of course. Well, we have spiced bergamot, which is
Okay.
our hand-poured one for this season, which has
great.
got a nice warm fragrance. It's got some ginger notes and resinous notes, some sandalwood as well. So it's quite a rich.
Yeah.
But it's also got the sort of the freshness of the bergamot as well. If you like, I can show you where we hand pour all our fragrances and where all the magic happens.
Yeah, that'd
leads
be a
you through to
pleasure.
the perfumery.
Yeah,
Super.
thank you.
Thank you.
Come on through. Come on through.
Thank you. Wow, beautiful. I think this is the first time I've ever been back here, Edward.
It is.
I think it's the first time I realised it existed.
Hard to believe. Yes, this is like the throne room. This is the secret
very good.
room.
It's our inner sanctum, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
It's
is so,
sort of like all the wonderful bits that you could show off, but you're such a classy brand that you just don't, and you keep it all back here for Kirby and I.
Yeah, I mean the Royal
to get
Warrens,
that.
Princess Diana. I mean, this
it's
is
a bit of a museum as well as being our perfumery. So this is where all the magic happens, really.
Gosh, this is beautiful. I mean, how long have you guys been in this location?
Since 1730.
Really, here in like this same.
In the same location, that's right, yes. The building is from the late 1600s, and we've been here since 1730. And all the cabinets in the shop are from the Great Exhibition, and all these ones were replicated in 1900 to replicate the shop, really.
Unbelievable.
How extraordinary.
And you're what, the 7th generation?
Ninth generation now,
Ninth
actually.
generation, gosh.
Unbelievable. I mean, that has to put you among the oldest family-held businesses in all of England, for sure.
One of the old. I think we're the oldest perfumery certainly in England, and one of the oldest in the world, definitely.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's still independent and still
Yeah.
family run as
Yeah.
well. So.
That's great.
But yeah, this is our sort of inner sanctum where we create all of our new fragrances that we launch into the range, and it's a lovely quiet area to work from.
Yeah.
Away from the sort of hustle and bustle
Of German Street.
and Piccadilly.
But one of the things I love about Floris is, I mean, you guys have just, I think, one of the most significant archives or collections of fragrances. I mean, I've got so many of my own. I mean, it's like I'm probably up to 8 or 9 different
You're a man
bottles.
of ritual, I know.
Yes, I know.
That's the thing. I do go to I know from being friends with you that I know that you are a man of ritual, and scent plays such an important part in your morning routine.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I feel like, I'm not ready for the day, but I don't know if it's psychological or whatever. I mean, I'm not ready for the day until I spray my scent, and it's the last thing I do before I leave, in the morning, and it just
Yeah, you're not
pulls
sort
me
of properly
together.
dressed without it.
It's as
is it?
important as my shave or tying my tie.
Yeah.
Is the fragrance, and whenever I spray that, and I've got my line up there, and so you kind of have, use different fragrances for different occasions or different purposes. And so, you kind of reflect, you take a moment to reflect of what you're going to do that day, and then you make your selection, and then you're ready to go out.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Something very reassuring about having your fragrance.
It's like a safety blanket for us gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, and then one of the other things I love is that, again, you guys could easily rest on, your several hundred-year history. But, with your hand-poured seasonal fragrances, you guys are still constantly inventing new fragrances. And then we're in the room that you do your bespoke fragrances in,
That's
where
right,
someone can
yes.
still come and have a consultation and create something that's totally unique and one of a kind. Wonderful.
Absolutely, yes. We have all our bases and blends here.
Amazing.
And we still use our antique glassware that's from the early days, and everything is measured out in fluid ounces and fluid drams, which is the way we've always done it, really. And yes, so this is where customers can come and sit with our perfumer for a couple of hours or longer, depending on the consultation, and create their own fragrance. And then they can name their fragrance, and we'll keep a handwritten record of it, so it goes down in our books. But also it's kept on our computer system, and then whenever they want to reorder, they've got their unique fragrance.
Amazing.
So we'll make it up here, especially for them whenever they need to.
One of these days I have to do that.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like having my son's name in the book at Charvet. When he goes back and pulls his pattern. One day, you want your son or your daughter to be, here in London at Floris. My father used to always have a fragrance made and to reorder it.
And then they'll go
the
to
nostalgia there,
then they'll pick it
right
up.
there with the king, the former Duke of York.
Brilliant. That's great.
We've had some people that they want to have the fragrance that their friend has created, and so we say, well, no, we can't give it to you, but if you want to, if you can ask them, if they give permission, then we can gladly make it up for you.
Yeah.
So we have that a few times where somebody's given permission for their friends.
Well, what a great
to
gift is to kind of have your signature fragrance that you've had made bespoke, and to give it to certain family members. It's one of those experiences I feel like that is so unique to London.
It is a nice
heritage brands like this really don't exist in very many other places.
No. We're sport for choice here, but the outside of London, it's sort of dwindling fast.
Yeah.
But hopefully, the sort of the kind of the reputation of London as a place where these sorts of brands are helps sort of bolster its kind of its relevance going forward. But what have you brought out? What's the?
I've just brought out really our glassware here and some of our
it's in the bottles.
Some of our bases and blends. So here we've got this is a base which is a citrus base. We have basically a few different bases from each fragrance family. So floral family, citrus family, woody, and oriental family as well, or ambery. And then we have the individual areas. So if you wanted to add bergamot, or you wanted to add sandalwood or cedarwood or cassis or whatever the ingredient is, then we can work with those to customize the fragrance. So,
and this is Cypress Neroli. I've got the Neroli Voyage.
Oh, great!
Is similar base or
similar in the same family, but in fact, let's have a smell while we're here.
Feel these.
They're quite weighty, those. Sort of, always a bit nervous. Someone will drop one on their foot, but it's never happened.
Well, I'm nervous about
but it can hardly be picked up.
If I'm honest.
No, true.
I think glassware, I'm sort of that does make me nervous, doesn't it? Because
it does. It makes us nervous as well, actually.
This is
I
would suggest is a very traditional English gentleman scent.
I think so.
It reminds me of sort of, don't take this wrong way, but like when I went to my father's club or his, he used to have a health club in the city, which he designed as a sort of gentleman's club, come officers' mess, come gym. And it worked very well, but the idea was that there were lots of the sort of things you'd find in white bathrooms, you'd find in bottoms, and the smell that
very
find there'd be something like this. It's just sort of something that like a gentleman applies.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's similar to, it's probably closest to our JF fragrance that we have in the range, but it's
another
slightly
favourite.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. But it's different, but very sort of close to that one there.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then
talk to us about, the hand pours. The golden amber, I think, was earlier
Yes,
this
the
year,
Golden
or
Amber.
late last.
When was that? Yes, it was late last year, I think
Okay.
it was. Was it? No, actually, it was earlier this year. Sorry,
Okay.
yeah. And then yes, the spiced bergamot
Time
that we have now.
I know.
Irrelevant during
It has,
COVID.
isn't it?
We've lost track of
It's
everything.
become very yes, it's very strange. Yeah.
It does seem like a time warp.
Flexible.
Yeah.
So this is the Golden Amber, which you'll be familiar with. then.
Super.
Which is fresher.
That's very
A
distinct.
little bit.
I mean, this is a really great kind of spring day fragrance.
It is. And then we've got the like you say, more sort of seasonal winter style fragrance, spiced bergamot, which is spicy. It has the bergamot opening to it to give it the freshness, but then it's got lovely notes of ginger and frankincense, sandalwood. Sorry.
And so these are Eau De Parfums.
Yes, yeah, these
Oh,
are.
that's very different. That's very nice.
And
Yeah.
it has a marine note as well, which is one of the top notes. It's a little bit like the smell of the sea, like the air, the
Salty.
sea breeze. Exactly.
How does the, I mean, I know that whenever you create a fragrance, you're layering the different notes. How does it vary with like a Eau De Toilette and an Eau De Parfum, right? I mean, this is a higher concentration, I mean, for the hand-poured fragrances than it is for the Eau De Toilette.
Yes, yeah, the Eau De Parfums tend to be a higher concentration of fragrance than an Eau De Toilette.
But does it allow, I guess, greater kind of delineation or development of these notes kind of as they linger?
It depends on the type of fragrance and the notes. So sometimes you can have an Eau De Toilette that could be stronger than an Eau De Parfum just because of the sort of nature of the fragrance. So if you have an Eau De Cologne that's perhaps very rich and woody, that would probably last longer than an Eau De Parfum that was a sort of light citrus fragrance or a light floral fragrance. So it does depend on the sort of the nature of the fragrance, because the sort of lighter citrus notes and lighter floral notes, they tend to be the very volatile molecules that just lift off the skin quite quickly, whereas the sort of richer, woodier notes and spice notes and vanilla, things like that, they're the very heavy, dense molecules that stay on the skin right until the end of the day or the next morning. So yeah, it's sort of how it works. So it's a little bit like music, really. You've got the language of perfumery and music talking in notes and crescendo and it's like a sort of piece of music, the way a fragrance will open out and take you on a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's a
It's a beautiful
description,
analogy.
A symphony.
Yeah, a symphony of.
Symphony of.
And I think that just like with music, there's several different genres
And notes.
and notes. And I think that
There you go.
a proper wardrobe has several different fragrances,
Yes.
I agree.
which I guess is a little non-traditional, because traditionally, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, part of coming of age was having your own fragrance made, and then am I wrong in that would kind of be your fragrance for a long
Quite
time?
often,
or-
yeah, that was sort of traditionally the way things tended to be. You'd just have your fragrance that would be
Your signature.
sort of your signature and a bit of an extension to your personality and to your character, which from chatting to lots of our customers, some people do, they found their fragrance that's the one, and that's the one they always will wear, and their friends know them by that. So,
Yeah, you
it's,
do. It's a very evocative.
Yeah.
It's know when they've
Yeah.
walked into the room. Whereas I think more recently it's become more popular to have a wardrobe of fragrances that you have for different occasions, different times of year, even different times of day. So have an evening fragrance compared to
Because some scents have the capacity to warm you up.
Yeah.
Just by smelling it kind of gives it
totally.
a sense of warming up.
Yeah.
Vanilla, tobacco, those sorts of things.
Absolutely, and they tend to be quite comforting in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a bit stifling in the summer even.
sometimes.
You know,
Yeah,
it can do that.
Yeah, but there's certain, like the leather ode. I mean, that's a fragrance that to me is an evening time
Yeah.
fragrance, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily put it on in the morning.
No, exactly.
But then you've got the German Street or the JF or, some of the other ones that, like Santal, that are great kind of daytime fragrances, weekday fragrances.
definitely. Yeah, I do wear the German Street quite a lot because it's got the freshness to. You can wear it in the summer and the winter, but it's also got that lovely vetiver note that runs through it and gives it a real sort of warmth and depth. So it's a good sort of all-rounder, I seem to find.
Yeah.
Now, a question referring to our left. If somebody were to come in and say, I'd like what the king had, could that be replicated to today? Because you have these amazing ledgers over here that detail what was ordered by great sort of individuals of the past. Could somebody say what King George VI had? Could I have
we
that?
wouldn't be able to say what we wouldn't be able to disclose that to the customer.
Even a king of 100 years ago still would guard that privacy.
Yeah, we would.
Could you make it up without saying what's in it?
Yes, we could, I suppose. Yes, we could make
So
something
they just arrive, say this is what it was.
Just a wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it was. We'll keep it unlabeled, unmarked. I think that maybe.
Do you
I
say
think
this?
that's probably the best way of doing it.
The perfect. That sounds ideal. There's something I know.
Make sure I get a bottle in the mail whenever King King George's fragrances.
And go and at our audience of the Queen later.
Yes.
She maybe could smell us and
Remember
get
her
great
father.
members of her father.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Let's do it. Too. Good idea. We've got all sorts of well-known names in there.
Absolutely, they're great.
Winston Churchill, Noel Coward as well. We've just there's an exhibition actually. It's just opened in Guildhall in the city.
Yes, there is.
And,
Exactly.
They borrowed one of our antique bottles of a fragrance that he used to wear, so they got that as part of the exhibition.
Terrific.
So yeah, it's a great exhibition actually. I was able to have a look the other day. So lots of a bit of a who's who of the time in those.
Well, in history, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that's not lost on me is, here we are sitting at this desk in this room, and Floris has so much heritage and continuity to it, having been here since the beginning, that, just think of the countless other people that, preceded us, that have sat at this desk with a member of the Bodenham family, to discover fragrance.
Yeah.
It's really,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Very
again,
exciting.
reminds me of Lob with the striking anvil that, kind of marks the bottom of all their outsoles. I mean, that hammer has struck the bottom of kings, princesses, titans of industry, criminal. I mean, it's like, you name it.
Politicians.
And that single thread, two of the same.
Yeah.
But that single thread, really, I feel like if you're here in London and you have the privilege of transacting with these businesses, really kind of connect you to that thread of history.
Yeah, and the
it's a real
culture.
privilege
It's
to be a
culture
part of
because whether people like it or not, places like this feed into the culture of who we are as Englishmen.
Yes.
Or as Brits.
Very important.
And it's why you come over here.
That's why. Well, Edward,
great
such
to
a
have you
pleasure.
here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
in to see me.
Yeah.